Hi, my name is Mohammed and welcome to my program. Today we're going to talk about ancient Egyptian literature. As an Egyptian far removed from my homeland, I've always been fascinated by the ancient history of my people. I was exposed to the popular remnants of ancient Egypt, but the writings of our ancestors have always been a mystery to me. I recently came across an interesting passage in a book that better encapsulates what I mean, and I'll begin today by reading it to you. This is from a book called Ancient Egyptian Literature by John L. Foster. He says, when one considers ancient Egypt, the first images that come to mind are of the pyramids at Giza, or the Sphinx, or the dried mummies in their coffins, or the consummate gold work of the treasure of Tutankhamun, or the huge statues of Ramses II. Egypt, indeed, was one of the first lights of civilization, and these images remind us of that fact. When we ponder its surviving buildings and monuments, its carvings and paintings, its gold work and jewelry, its statues and figurines, we cannot help but be impressed by the primacy of ancient Egyptian culture. These survivals guarantee the perennial fascination the world has with that ancient civilization. And as we look into the faces of Egyptian statues and figurines, which are usually generic and idealized but lifelike, we wonder what went on in the minds of their owners and the minds of those Egyptians the statues and figurines were meant to embody. We ask, what went on behind such eyes? What world did they see? What gave those faces their expressions? Indeed, what wonders what a society that could create such excellence in architecture, in painting, in precious metal and stone, and in statuary, what did or could it similarly create in words? What mind stood behind those hands that created the visual masterpieces of ancient Egypt, and how did that mind express itself verbally? Yet the works of ancient Egyptian literature and their authors are less well known than the works of art and architecture. This is partly due to problems in deciphering the details of the language and partly due to the conditions of the surviving texts. But it also stems from the fact that the non-specialist must read the literature, not merely see a slide of Egypt or view it on a tour. And in trying to read, he or she must also try to visualize the images and culture conveyed in the text, which is no easy thing to do. At any rate, far from appearing in their rightful place at the fountainhead of world literature, the classics of Egypt remain out of the mainstream, covered in darkness. Today I'll be sharing with you a piece of that literature, a poem from the pyramid texts. The pyramid texts are some of the oldest bodies of religious writing in the world, dating all the way back to the Old Kingdom of Egypt. The Old Kingdom begins right after the end of the early dynastic period, or about 4,700 years ago. It is the period from the 3rd dynasty of Egypt to the 6th dynasty of Egypt, spanning the period from 2686 BC to 2181 BC. It is also known as the Pyramid Age because that's when we finally figured out how to build the pyramids. These texts, also known as utterances or spells, were carved and painted in the chambers of pyramids of kings and queens and were meant to help guide the rulers into the afterlife. The spells, by the way, are divided into a few categories, each serving a different purpose, but I'll leave that topic for another day. The texts were first discovered in the pyramid of Pepi I on the walls of the king's burial chamber. This is what his burial chamber looked like. And here are some of the texts up close. There were 2,263 columns and lines of text within the pyramid of Pepi I. While this was the first discovery of pyramid texts, the tradition of funerary writings were later discovered in pyramids from earlier periods. The first ever inscriptions were said to have been made within the pyramid of the pharaoh Unas, the 9th and final king of the 5th dynasty. The Pyramid of Unas carries the ancient name Nefer Asut Unas, which roughly translates to "Beautiful are the places of Unas." Today, this pyramid looks rather unimpressive on the outside. It's deteriorated quite a bit. It's the smallest Old Kingdom pyramid, by the way, which I presume Unas wasn't too happy about. Let's take a look at where these texts were found. Here's what the structure of the Unas complex looks like. Zooming in on the main pyramid, we begin to see the substructure where the burial chamber is. There were a total of 283 spells in Unas's pyramid. This is considered to be one of the most well-preserved bodies of religious writing from the Old Kingdom. I'll show you what I mean. Within the sarcophagus chamber, as you can see, the texts are everywhere. Let's also take a look at the antechamber. It, too, covered in texts. And they are carved in great detail. Here's a color photograph of a portion of the south wall from the king's burial chamber. What you see here are utterances number 213 to 219. The pyramid texts were numbered by Egyptologists, and some were found to be repeated in other pyramids. Their usage changed between the Old, Middle, and New Kingdoms of Egypt. While they were reserved for kings and queens in the Old Kingdom, they were found in the tombs of officials in the Middle and New Kingdoms. That's because the royals got themselves an upgrade: the coffin texts and the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Those are both topics for another day. It's now time for us to read a pyramid text. This is pyramid text 573, Prayer of the King to Re. Awake in peace, O Re, pure one, in peace. Awake in peace, O Eastern Horus, in peace. Awake in peace, O soul of the East, in peace. Awake in peace, O Horus of the horizon, in peace. Sleep in the night bark, wake in the day bark. For you are the one who watches over the gods, and there is no god to watch over you. O Re, father of King Pepi, take me to you, with you to live forever with your mother Nut, who for me will open the gates of heaven and throw open the doors of the firmament. Let me come to you to make me live forever. Command me to sit at your side, or by him who brings morning from the horizon. O Re, my father, command Meshkat beside you to appoint a place for me at the great staircase under the sky. Commend me to him who has life, the son of Sothis, to speak for me, for he has promised me a seat in heaven. Commend me to the Shining One, beloved and son of Ptah, to speak on my behalf, that he maintain my offering places upon earth. For I indeed am one from these four gods, Imseti, Hapi, Duamutef, and Kebeh-Senewef, who live by truth, who hold their scepters high, and who watch over Upper Egypt. I fly up out of your grasp, mankind, and up like a bird. In the guise of a falcon I tear my hands from your power. In the guise of a kite I break free of you. I, King Pepi, am safe from any who would fetter my feet to earth. I am free of all who would hold me. That was Pyramid Text 573, Prayer of the King to Re. If you enjoyed this session or have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.